Good afternoon. It's 1 p.m., so we're going to call the April 5th meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee to order. Could I have a motion to adopt the agenda as circulated? Mayor Elmsley, seconded by Member Barkwell. All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Is there any declarations of pecuniary interest this afternoon? Seeing none, move into public meeting reports, which there are none. Deputations, we have no deputations today. We have no correspondence today. So we will move right into regular and returned reports. Item 6.1, Plan 2023-015, subdivision agreement for Hydgetown subdivision, Lindsay and condominium development exemption application for Fernbrook Homes. Richard Hawley.
Good afternoon, members of committee and staff and public if you're joining us. This report is a report to just present the subdivision agreement to Planning Advisory Committee, as we're obligated to do. Approvals were issued a number of years ago for this revised development. It's 155 townhouse units on the former LSN lands. They had a number of approvals, official plan amendment, rezoning, subdivision, and condominium approvals that were granted, I think, a couple of years ago. They are now working towards a subdivision agreement, which is attached to the report. The subdivision agreement contains all of the relevant clauses and all of the relevant provisions that subdivision agreements typically contain. In this case, what is happening is they're simply dividing the property into three blocks. One is a block north of Elkhorn Drive. The second block is actually Elkhorn Drive, and that will be dedicated to the city as public highway. Could you please the draft plan subdivision? There we go, thank you. So this is the draft plan of subdivision. So as you can see, there's essentially three pieces of land being created. The two development blocks, part 1 and part 2, and then Elkhorn Drive, and that will be transferred to the city as public highway through the subdivision agreement process. They are not, through the draft plan process, they are not creating the lots. They are waiting to do that through the condominium process because this will be a condominium development. They've elected to go through the draft plan process because that's the process that gives us Elkhorn Drive as a public highway. So what will happen from a process perspective is they are going to be going through we have actually issued draft plan of condominium conditions, and the condominium process will actually create the parcels of tied land. So they'll create the condominium roads, and it will also create the 155 townhouse lots. From a policy perspective, the proposed development meets provincial policy, meets the city's Town of Lindsay official plan, as well as the zoning bylaw. Obviously, this development application has been circulated to all relevant agencies, and through the subdivision process, we're going to enter into an agreement with them. They are clearing all of the different agencies, and all those will come in. Once everything is cleared and once the subdivision agreement is registered, then the Director of Development Services can sign the draft plan of subdivision. So that is the first part of this report, is to endorse the subdivision agreement. It is largely in final form. There's probably going to be a little bit of tweaking, but everything is there that is typically in the subdivision agreement. So from that perspective, we're fine moving it forward, as is the applicant. They've had a chance to review it as well, and they have made all of their comments. We're just incorporating some of those things and just adding adding the final touches, and the engineering department will be approving all of the engineering plans through the engineering review, which will then get attached. The second part of the request is an exemption from condominium description. So as I indicated to you, they have draft plan of condominium approval. They wanted to go through that process. However, if we're going to have a subdivision agreement registered on title, we are going to take them through site plan approval, which will get us, which will sort of outline what the development looks like, and it will actually show what the development looks like. So this is an example of the site plan. It's not the actual final site plan, but it's just a colored version for illustration purposes. Shows all the different lots, and it also shows some landscaping. It shows the lighting, visitor parking, refuse facilities, those types of things. So for those types of things, we prefer to enter into a site plan agreement because it's easier to do that. Then the site plan agreement will also be registered on title. Whatever warning clauses we don't put in the subdivision agreement, we will put into the site plan agreement. However, when you go through the condominium process, you also have to register another agreement on title for the condominium process. So from a city's perspective, we're okay with only having 2 agreements registered on title. We'll get whatever lands we need through those 2 processes, and we'll take whatever securities we need through those 2 processes. From that perspective, where the applicant is requesting and planning staff is supportive of an exemption for condominium description. What that allows us to do is effectively cancel the draft plan of condominium file, and then what they do is they will prepare the condominium description and register that on title over top of the subdivision agreement and the site plan agreement. There is a cost implication to the applicant. There's a positive cost implication to the applicant of going this way. They don't have to clear conditions. They don't have to enter into another agreement because all of those things have fees attached. So from the city's perspective, we're confident that going through this process and requesting the condominium description exemption has no negative impacts on the city or any of our operations. There are 3 tests to requesting the exemption. One is conformity with the official plan and applicable zoning bylaw. The development as approved conforms to the official plan and it complies with the zoning bylaw. So once the site plan approval is issued, the condominium description will follow that lotting pattern that's outlined on the site plan. So that would conform to the official plan and zoning. There already has been a public meeting process that we've gone through for all 3 applications. So there is no benefit to another process. And the application has been subject to a comprehensive review, both through the subdivision approval process as well as the site plan approval process. So hence, we're requesting approval, we're requesting your consideration of approval of the condominium description exemption process as part of this. Typically, these two, the condo exemption requests don't go through PAC. We send them directly through to council. But I thought in this case, it would be good for you to see sort of the 2 things together, and then they would travel to council as well as one combined report. Typically, we don't have a situation like this where we have a subdivision agreement going forward and a condo exemption. But in this case, I thought it would be good to have the 2 sort of travel together. Anyways, that is my presentation. If you have any questions, I'll take those. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Committee, any questions of Director Hawley? Mayor Elmsley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, just a couple. With the exemption, does that create a difference in the amount of DCs that would be paid?
No, it does not. The DCs that would be paid, they're going to have once the condominium is registered, that's going to create the 155 lots, and the DCs are going to be based on that. They haven't requested a DC exemption through a subdivision agreement process, but will be requesting it through the site plan agreement process, which is it's a standard one of two triggers. So there is no, to answer your question, there is no difference in the amount of DCs payable.
And are these